sorry. Okay. What role do the stakeholders play in developing a sustainable ecosystem is what we're going to find out in the next couple of minutes. If you talk about innovation ecosystem, I'm sure you're aware of Merriam-Webster. It's a popular publishing agency. Now, they define ecosystem as a complex of a community of organisms and its environment functioning as an ecological unit, right? Now, an innovation ecosystem is the term which is used to describe various players, stakeholders, and community members that are critical for innovation. Now, an innovation ecosystem will include universities, government, corporations, startup accelerators, venture capitalists, private investors like angel investors, foundation entrepreneurs, mentors, and the media, right? Each plays a significant role in creating value in the larger ecosystem by transforming new ideas into reality through access and financial investment. I'm sorry if I'm going a little too fast. Please stop me anytime if you think I'm just blabbering on and you guys are not getting anything. Do let me know. Right. Now, local, state, and government entities, they can and should play a part in developing the ecosystem. Understanding growth, water, electricity, transportation, and affordable housing is critical to growth. And our partners in the public sector know all of this too well, right? Now, similar to Merriam-Webster's ecosystem, where organisms support each other so they can function together and survive, players in the innovation ecosystem also help each other, right? These collaborations occur in various ways, including events, cross-promotion, sharing of resources. Working together in this capacity demonstrates the power of collaboration and creates a community that supports each other's goals, mission, vision, and values, right? Let me move forward to venture ecosystem. Now, do you see over here a business model comparison? You will see there are 4 different models which are mentioned, which is venture studio, accelerator, incubator, and a VC, right? Venture studio is another word, can be another word for a venture builder, right? A venture builder will be like, oh, we have the capital, there's an idea, and we have all the tools to develop it also. Now, let's go out and we'll find the right talent to see who exactly can be a co-founder and work on this together. Who has the capability of taking this thing further, right? The resources required are, capital, support, all of that is there, right? So it goes from business ideas, we can build team, find capital, acts as a co-founder, and also support services, right? When you look at an accelerator, they say, okay, there is an existing startup, let's accept them onto our platform, our program, and we'll offer them tools to grow, not necessarily capital. An accelerator may or may not provide you with capital, depending upon what kind of an accelerator have you gotten yourself into. Now, they will definitely or may help you find capital. They will provide you with support services. But when it comes to ideation or team building or acting as a co-founder, that does not exist in an accelerator. They are typically only looking for an existing firm or an existing startup that they find is interesting and has the capability to grow. right? Now let's go for an incubator. Again, they say, let's brainstorm topics that we find interesting, and hopefully we'll invest in some of the ideas that develop from it, right? Now business, they typically look for ideas, they will help you find capital, and again, they will also provide you support services. But they will not, again, pool in capital, and when it comes to support, they may or may not have the kind of support that an accelerator or a venture builder firm is able to provide to you. When it comes to VC, a typical venture capital firm, now they say this is a startup, an amazing startup. They have the promise, we'll put in our money, and we hope to get somewhere between 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever, 100x, 1000x out of it, depending on the scalability that the particular startup has the capability of, right? Again, they will only provide you with capital, but when it comes to support services, they may or may not give you, depending on what kind of VC are they, or in some cases they do have further accelerators or venture builder firms which venture capital firms have tied up with, right? So there is kind of there's a big difference between a venture builder and a venture capital firm. A venture capital firm kind of believes in taking less risk and providing the capital for it. But when it comes to a venture building firm, they are more on the risk taking side, because they are providing you with everything. They are acting as your co-founder. They are also providing you capital even on the ideation stage, wherein they believe, okay, maybe this will go through. Let's see what happens. So you will see a lot of VCs tying up with venture builder firms, because instead of directly going to a founder or a founder directly reaching out to a VC firm, a VC firm will typically believe more on a venture builder firm who has the understanding, who has the resources and people who will be able to minimize their risk and benefit the capital that a VC has put in, right? Coming on to next, the process, right? This is how a typical venture building process works, right? You ideate, there is an entrepreneur, they come up with an idea, the capital is provided, the process is taken care of, the network is provided by a venture builder firm. Now, when I give example of my own company, where I work for, 360 Nautica, since we have about 22 brands which have been created by our managing director, we have a couple of startups that come in that that we incubate, or we kind of provide them with a path to, this is how you have to we will kind of pave a way for them, that this is how you will operate, right? Across 22 brands, we have various partnerships that we have built throughout the years, right? So recently there was a startup that we invested in 2021 called Fish.qa. It is it's a delivery platform which provides fresh seafood to people across Doha. Now, they of course it's a great platform, everything is fine, but we as a venture builder, what are we bringing to table, right? When a startup, if you have a startup, or if you're planning to build one, I would say don't just as soon as the idea comes in your mind, okay, I've decided I'm not going to work, or maybe I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start a business, right? A startup. And the next step for anybody is, let's raise funding. But maybe between all of this, when all of this is happening, one major point that all of y'all should definitely see is, apart from money, what is that particular VC or the venture builder or whoever that you're, or angel investor that you are kind of approaching for capital, what are they bringing to the table, right? Of course, they're giving you money, but you also require connections. You could receive millions of dollars in investment, but if you don't have the connection, because as a startup, you will not have connections. You are just starting out your businesses. You have no idea who is out there, who to approach. Even if you know how to approach, you don't know the way how, to get through to them. That's where your partner, who could be a VC or a venture builder or accelerator or innovator or incubator, would come in. You need to ask them, apart from capital investment, what can you give it? What can you give to me? Do you have enough connections when it comes to, like in our case, the startup required connections for delivery requirements, like delivery vehicles, the refrigerative vehicles, staffing requirement, which is also one of our businesses, so on and so forth. So all of that was kind of where we were helping them out. Now, when it comes to validate, a venture builder will also, they will test, they will reiterate, they'll tell you if, let's say it failed, right? Then they'll reassign the resources. What do I mean by reassign resources? They'll see where exactly what went wrong, and let's see what exactly there is, what chunk of money have we separated out for this particular project. And let's see, maybe, at any stage when you're validating your idea, maybe you feel this is too capital intensive, it's going to take more money. So then the firm starts prioritizing what to do when, right? Then comes the creation, the MVP, prototype, all of that is created. A co-founder which is suitable is secured. Again, testing is done, company is founded, registered. Again, if that fails at this particular level, the same thing comes back to reassigning of resources. Okay, should we be investing more? What exactly should be our way to go forward? How exactly what will be our strategy to move forward, right? Everything goes through, the startup is doing well, great. You go ahead with growth strategy. After a couple of years, maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the line, the venture builder will exit with whatever valuation they have received. Now, coming towards the Indian startup scene. Now, before that, I would like to kind of again reiterate the importance of the innovation ecosystem, right? An innovation ecosystem will, they will create an active flow of information and resources for ideas to transform into reality, right? Through these ecosystems, we are building a process by which more innovators and entrepreneurs can develop and launch solutions to solve real world problems faster, right? This process kind of creates expertise in new areas. It helps to diversify the economy, allows businesses to meet their customers wherever they are. Yeah. Additionally, an innovation ecosystem provides the means to create economic stability and resource sharing, right? These startups are also creating jobs and opportunities. However, we can't forget that they're also busy building new technologies that apply across industries and audiences, right? They are speaking with everyone in the ecosystem, identifying their key partners, turning these in-kind and financial investments into tangible products that impact how we all live, work, and play. right? These startups, the value of an innovation ecosystem lies in the access to resources for the startups and the flow of information for the ecosystem's stakeholders. The information um, that flows creates more investment opportunities for the right institutions to connect with the right ideas for their businesses and portfolios at the right time and the right reasons. Okay. Um, does anybody have any questions, anything that you would like to ask? I don't typically like my workshops to be the one where I am the only one who is speaking. So at any point of time, please do raise your hands or just unmute yourself and tell me if there's something that you would like to ask, if something is that is not clear to you. Cool. Okay, great. Another point before we get into the Indian startup ecosystem, I would like to point out about the venture ecosystem is, when you ask any CEO to define an ecosystem, you'll get as many different responses. Everyone will be, according to them, there's a different a different definition of an ecosystem according to each and every entrepreneur that has gone through the stages of a startup or any business, depending on when did they start, whether they started back in 90s or whether they just started recently, pre-COVID or post-COVID or whatever. Now, some honestly see it as simply as a sales channel. Some may feel it is a marketing tool. Some may feel a show of industry power, connections. And finally, there are some that might, hark back to their high school biology days. Now, still, there are those who define venture ecosystem as, pitch days, hackathons, field trips to different areas. People in the US will be like, oh, it's all about going to the Silicon Valley, where the investors over there will universally attest that they provide little in the way of tangible results for the corporation. Too narrow, too short-lived, too ethereal, too discrete are common reasons which are given by different co-founders. But when a venture ecosystem is understood, it's harnessed and capitalized, so much more can be realized out of it, right? A true venture ecosystem is it's a network of interconnected corporations and startups engaging as a collaborative community to sustain and grow, right? Now, this will only happen if it's built properly with the specific actionable goals defined. A highly effective bespoke ecosystem becomes a resounding platform of leadership for the corporation, right? It becomes a linchpin in an interwoven set of relationships that fosters common interests, innovation, and revenue growth. Right. When we come to strategic ecosystem approach, it will produce like I think about 4 or 5 key results, right? One could be new market insights, where your teams are aware and sophisticated. They know the ventures and innovations on the horizons have defined themselves in your industry. They're already visible or even knocking on your door, right? In order to build a strong, robust ecosystem, smart organizations must widen their venture view and look both beyond standard channels and geographies. And by engaging a broad spectrum of ventures and taking an inquisitive look at how they are tackling the market, A corporation will be able to look beyond its own preconceived notions and amalgamate the trends. Right now, where it could be something like, what underlying technologies are needed to drive your company forward, and what ventures are out there leading the pack, even if they're not focused on your specific industry. Right? What about upstarts outside of your typical geographical viewpoint? Are the problems being solved in other parts of the world applicable and right for your future organization? It could be, what about non-related industries, or what you call as non-direct competitors? Then are you unintentionally, are you wearing blinders? Maybe you're just looking in one direction. You don't know that you are unintentionally, you're kind of blocking yourself from seeing a wide, from imagining the real-time scenario in a broader perspective, right? The second point would be, new products and services. Frankly, the venture landscape is, it's replete with companies that are tackling ideas you already have, right? But they are probably tackling those ideas with more capital than you've allocated to your internal activity, right? Instead of looking at these ventures as ominous threats, they can be seen as unique opportunities. Like, today's ventures are your products, services, or solutions for tomorrow, right? Why not get involved with them early and have a hand in shaping their progress and future outcomes, right? Don't wait until the final product is, kind of like fully refined, gaining market traction to understand how will it affect your business. Diving in early with the venture provides energy and inspiration that you can't get by yourself, right? When it comes to building relationships with these ventures, the corporation has the opportunity to grab onto that energy and use its brand and market presence to accelerate products, right? Another point I'd like to to bring forward over here are the new business models, right? The world, it's changing so fast that even before the pandemic, a new set of consumers and their desires to get what they want when they want it without a full purchase commitment was becoming the norm, right? Now, the same consumption trend has been undeniably transformed by the pandemic and the ways in which we live and work, right? Nobody thought, Zoom meetings and hosting classes on Zoom would be an everyday thing. How many classes did you attend on Zoom before COVID? Did you even use Zoom to attend your classes or lectures before the pandemic hit? I don't think, at least when I was in college, like 10, 12 years back, we didn't even have yeah, our teachers definitely did not give us the opportunity to bring the laptop into college and kind of, be able to record the lecture or submit an assignment online. That was not how it was done, at least back then. So this brings you to the point where, you kind of start thinking, are there ways to sell my product as a service? Does my service need to be broken down into smaller bite-sized opportunities? And do I need to offer a subscription? Right? This list can go on and on in the, sorry, does someone need to say, is someone trying to say something?
No, ma'am. We just have new people entering.
Okay, cool, no problem. Yeah, so this list can go on and on in the venture ecosystem. You know, startups are doing exactly that, offering the same thing you sell in new and innovative ways that appeal to new audiences, right? Smart corporations recognize that given their history, it may not be in their DNA to think that way. However, by engaging with ventures, learning from them and understanding what their models require, corporations can put themselves at the forefront of where things are now going, right? When it comes to new markets, you could think about, okay, do you have one homogeneous customer base, or is it much more nuanced? If you talk about today's world, I think it should be the latter, right? New generations and more uh, delineated subsectors of customer groups want something different. Instead of buying products outright, they want an option to subscribe to them. Can anybody give me the perfect example for this? Instead of buying the product straight away, you want to subscribe to it. What could be the perfect example for this in the current scenario, or you could take like the past couple of years? I'm open to answers. What according to you would be the actually there could be like multiple answers, but yeah, I'm waiting for anyone to speak up.
Ma'am, for just a common day example, milk, we do not go and buy it every day. We just subscribe to it. Our vendor delivers it to us.
Exactly. So what exactly, which company do you use for getting dairy products, or or any of the household items to deliver to yourself? I'll tell you about,
Country Delight
sorry.
is there. Country Delight is there. We use
Exactly.
like Reliance Jio, like their Jio Mart.
Yeah.
And their
So go on.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Jio Mart, Reliance Jio, and like Swiggy, Instamart is also there. They are operating the same model.
Exactly. So it was not like before these companies existed, you couldn't go out yourself and buy things that you are now ordering online. I mean, before this entire startup boom began, people have been, and even until now, people love the idea of going to the supermarket and feel the product or the vegetable or the fruit, check themselves and get it delivered. But because these startups have given you an ease of service, I am from Delhi. When I go back home, I have not seen my family going for grocery shopping. We order stuff from Blinkit and it gets delivered to our house in 10 to 20 minutes. And you can get your stuff delivered for as low as 10 rupees, going all the way up to 15, 20,000. They don't care. They will deliver the stuff to you within 30, 40 minutes. Right? That is the ease of service. That is the power that we're talking about. And that is where it, if you look from a business point of view, it's not a big deal. They're not solving a massive problem, but because they've come into operation, they have made you think that yes, this is a problem and we are solving it. You live in Mumbai or Bangalore or even Delhi, like in some portions of Delhi, the traffic is crazy. There is no parking, or even if you park somewhere, someone might just bang into your car and go. So instead of dealing with all of that, they are providing you the ease of delivering all of this stuff to your house. Right now, you will buy all of this now even if you are paying a little extra, you don't mind doing that, because then you start calculating, acha, if we go, we'll probably end up burning this much fuel, and of course there's heat, or there's rain, or it's too cold. So it's just better to I might as well just sit home, pay 100 rupees extra, and get everything delivered at the comfort of my house, right? Consumers are willing to purchase a product or service, even if it's inferior to your product, if it meets more of their needs, right? Sometimes when you get your vegetables delivered from Big Basket or JioMart or Swiggy or whoever, right? Even if you get 10% of your stuff is of the vegetables, maybe one apple out of a kilo that you ordered is not good, you won't care. You sometimes you'll be like, acha, okay, fine, let it go, right? So you are indirectly, you are also accepting an inferior product and paying higher for it, but you're okay with it because you didn't have to move at all, and you're getting the ease of service, right? That is what happens to a venture ecosystem. It provides corporations with access to these new markets, and partnering with them will open the door in areas you previously thought were untouchable, right? With a venture, your market becomes heterogeneous and more extensive. So when initially I said that a startup may think, do you have a homogeneous customer base, or is it much more nuanced? It is definitely much more nuanced. If you're talking as in becoming a startup founder yourself, you would want to be heterogeneous and more extensive in product service and product availability, right? This is to provide unique growth opportunities to your customers, right? Cultural change is also, an aspect that many organizations, when bespoke venture ecosystems are built with, they build it with a growth mindset to buy in from the top. They have profound effects on the organization, both culturally and financially. Without saying a word, the presence of a venture ecosystem shouts your innovation narrative, rather, loud and clear to your employees. They'll say, okay, we support innovation. The future is bright. We are here to stay. So I'm assuming you guys will be 2024 batch.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So when do you have like a vision board to your dream company where you want to work? Apart from just a good pay package, what according to you should that company would be, or should be offering you, apart from just paying you 50, 60, 70 lakhs, 1 crore, whatever package? What do you think is
And
like,
the perks
does anyone
and benefits.
Okay.
Perks and benefits.
When you talk about perks and benefits, what exactly are you talking about?
Let's say 4 working days or 5 working days.
Okay.
And apart
And
from that, like some incentives to the employees.
which
Am I audible?
incentive, sorry?
Anything like as of if I'm giving example, Tata, they provide some like discount coupons to their employees for purchasing their internal products. So like that type of initiatives.
Okay. What else? Anything else? Nobody?
They should care about their employees. Basic being it should be employee centered, and every decisions that they make has an effect on their employees, and they should be mindful of it.
Okay, but when you talk about large organizations, then mostly not every time just thinking about their employees. If they start doing that, probably they'll run their business into the ground. Not every decision in a corporate or any small or big business or a medium enterprise has to be to benefit an employee. That's not entirely true. I am looking for very, very specific something that I hope someone will bring it up. That what according to you is your dream employer? If you don't have a vision board already, I would suggest that you create one. I'll give you an example. Or let me give you an exercise actually. When we finish this, I would recommend you all to open We Work Remotely and check their top 100 companies. They have a tab called Top 100 Companies. Go through the benefits that they are providing to their employees and compare. And then after comparing those companies, you compare them to your vision board of a dream employer, right? That's because not every time it has to do with the 4-day working week or maybe remote work or employee stock options or employee benefit decisions that the company makes. It is much more to do with how the company treats you as a human before as an employee who's just working for them. You may work for the biggest brands across the world. Why do you think people? Okay. So yeah, you may work for the biggest brands out there and you'll be like, Acha, okay, I work for Google, Facebook, blah blah, Amazon. But I've had people who are like completely not satisfied there too. That's because there has to be, those companies are not always providing something that wow factor that a person as an individual thought the company would provide. But do this for sure. Right. I will now quickly jump onto the Indian startup scenario. I'm pretty sure you would have already heard this, I think a couple of times or a lot of times. But the Indian startup scenario, India is third largest startup ecosystem in the world, right? When we talk about between 2014 and 2022 until now, we have 57,000 Indian startups that were launched, 131 billion funding raised, 5,068 startups were funded, and the combined valuation is $450 billion, right? And 1,088 are the M&A deals. M&A deals are merger and acquisition deals which were done between 2014 and 2022, right? Okay. Now, India has, of course, we all know India has seen massive boom in startups, creating a large number of unicorns year on year, with the current tally standing at 105 unicorns, right? When we look at the new and developing education policy, which is creating a lot more emphasis on the thinking capability of students, which I feel was not the case, at least when I was back in college. The startup innovation cell, or the entrepreneurship cell, I think it's a fantastic initiative which is taken by the colleges in our country, which I'm sure are making efforts to merge with faculty members, innovation cells, and students in the college ecosystem altogether, right? Now all of this can be termed as the change driver. Okay, there are two aspects to this. One is, you may create a full-blown policy, the best system on paper, but the most crucial aspect to this is how to implement it and how to include it into the existing college framework, right? If you have teachers, and with all due respect, I don't mean to, kind of bring down our education system, but what I'm trying to say is that if we have teachers teaching the same things that they have been for the past, I don't know how many years, the only thing that will change in the education of in the college or university is the students. That's it. But if the teachers are not if they're not up to date, if they don't know what exactly is happening on the ground, then you'll just be struggling as soon as you get out of college, or whether you've done your MBA or just graduation or even PhD, whatever. You did all of that, but you don't have real-time experience. It's not going to be worth it, right? I think for students or the end benefactors of such policies to gain knowledge and benefit ultimately from introducing such policies at the grassroots level, it's critical for institutions and colleges to start at the grassroots level. Be it, whether we're talking about funding opportunities, or we're talking about research, or we're talking about the course, whether students themselves, they need to ponder upon of an institution and am I currently enrolled in, and or where would I like to enroll myself in. Let's say IIM starts a campaign wherein they are displaying across the globe that we will only have one semester of theoretical studies or whatever that you need to know. We'll teach you all of that, but the rest 3 semesters you are supposed to go on the ground and you're supposed to taste the dirt. If you have 4 semesters of studying theoretically, as opposed to 3 semesters wherein you are actually going at the bottom of the very industry where you want to get into, which one do you think would you benefit more from? I'm not too sure if you already have that, I'm sorry. But if you don't, I think if it is me, I would definitely, go for a college that is displaying that, we are giving our students the actual taste of what it is to go and work or do the dirty work when it comes to being industry specific or whichever organization they want to join.
Ma'am, in the second year, our institute provides experiential learning program for the students, where they actually go and to the companies in Uttarakhand, all over Uttarakhand, and they work with them just to gain experience and actual learning from the company firms.
Okay, and how long is this for?
It spans over all the 3 semesters in the second year. But mostly it is done remotely, but they also visit the firms where they're located.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so that is exactly what I'm talking about, right? When I was back in college, this was something which was, I mean, of course we had all of this, but we would be given like what, 2 days, 3 days, or 2 months of internships or whatever. And organizations at that time, they were treating interns, even now, interns are treated like, okay, you do the low end work. You don't need to know the nitty-gritties of everything. You just go ahead, you go as a, if you're talking about pharmaceutical companies, they'll be like, okay, you become the MR, medical representative. When it comes to sales companies, they'll make you a sales representative, or as easy as just, giving out flyers to people who are going around. But okay, coming back to the Indian startup ecosystem, of course, we've seen some tremendous growth in the past 5 years, with overall base, growing at 12 to 15% year on year. And during this period, India has seen the inception and growth of over 57,000 startups. The ecosystem has given rise to 105 unicorns, each valued at $1 billion plus. With this continuous growth, has positioned India in the top 3 global startup ecosystems, behind USA and China. Now, if you talk about percentage, 72% of startups are established in hubs like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai. However, the access to funds, local talents, infrastructure, industries, and local government support, in addition to cost arbitrage, has enabled entrepreneurs to house their startups in smaller cities and towns as well. Thereby, they're diffusing entrepreneurship across the country, right? The ecosystem has witnessed an increase in corporate participation by 12 to 15%, like I mentioned before, but there have been over 170 corporates engaging startups using multiple approaches, such as investments, merger and acquisitions, and open innovation. 2019 alone has seen corporates actively participating in funding rounds, with over 90% of the corporate investors being global MNCs. Right, 60 active open innovation programs. And corporates are collaborating with startups to solve business challenges to deliver revenue growth, cost savings, improve customer experience, all of that. Right now, I would not want to bore you further with this, but this is what I want to come to directly. Jugaad, the famous, well-known Indian word to get shit done. And honestly, we do get shit done by Jugaad, right? What exactly is, where exactly do we use Jugaad, if you ask? I would say everywhere. India has the world's 3rd largest startup ecosystem, of course, we know now. We have a pool of qualified talent, and most importantly, a frugal innovation mindset, which is called Jugaad, that has always helped the country find ways to tackle problems despite limited resources. In this context, I would like to say, when COVID-19 hit, India became a part of solution for a more digitalized world, where work from home became the new norm. And in the long run, the country strengthened its position as a strategic partner and an innovation hub for international companies. Right, the world's largest, like let's pick up 1,000 largest companies, mostly based in US and Europe. They spent 800-900 billions of dollars in 2018 alone for research and development. Yet they were incapable of quickly producing the millions of masks and ventilators that hospitals needed to protect the health workers and save the lives of thousands of COVID-19 patients, right? This clearly shows you money cannot buy innovation, right? Yet creative solutions are, they did emerge to fight COVID-19. MIT researchers, they developed open source, low cost ventilators that could be assembled in less than $100 or something, as compared to 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 commercial ventilators, right? Makers Asylum, which is a maker space in Mumbai. It led India-wide initiative to make 500,000 face shields that cost less than 0.66 euro or 0.66 USD each. They could be built anywhere in India. They could be sanitized, they could be reutilized. Even Decathlon, the sporting good giant, they help doctors and inventors worldwide use the 3D printer components to convert its snorkeling masks, which is used by scuba divers, into makeshift ventilators for COVID-19 patients, right? All these indigenous yet effective solutions show the power of frugal innovation, a disruptive strategy to create market relevant products and services faster, better, and cheaper, right? Now, I would say thousands of nimble entrepreneurs have long practiced frugal innovation in resource constrained emerging markets like India, where jugaad to create and to creatively solve critical socio-economic issues on a shoestring, it's basically a resilient and inclusive mindset that is able to transform adversity into opportunity and maximize existing resources to generate greater economic and social value for the society, right? Have you guys heard of Mansukh Prajapati? Does anyone know of Mansukh Prajapati from Gujarat? No? Okay. He's a potter in Gujarat who invented a fridge made entirely of clay. And Selco, which is a social enterprise that delivers pay-as-you-go clean energy solutions to about 200,000 remote rural households. These solutions, they're user-driven and they are deployed using a scale-out approach, that is by leveraging a decentralized supply chain network. For instance, Selco employs thousands of young entrepreneurs in hundreds of villages who install and maintain solar lamps locally and collect payment, right? And the $0.66 facial mask, which was created by the Makers Asylum, is built by maker spaces across Indian cities using local material. I'm pretty sure you would have found all of this across, around you, especially in Uttarakhand, which is very well known for, Uttarakhand and Himachal, especially have a lot of factories for pharmaceutical products and the medicines and all of that. Correct, right? Let's also talk about AlgoSurge, which is a Mumbai-based startup. It used a patented AI technology to convert 2D X-ray images into 3D images without requiring an expensive CT scanner or MRI machine, right? The biggest example could be ISRO. How much did ISRO spend on its Mars mission as compared to what NASA spends? I think ISRO was able to do it in what?
It was approx 450 crore.
So, and how much does NASA spend? Probably 90% more.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is what you mean by jugaad always does not have to be something which is looked down upon, but when you kind of use it in an effective way, when you've done your study, it will work very, very well. Yeah. Now, India is expected to contribute 50% of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So I would say we are a blueprint for building a frugal economy, an inclusive, healthy, sustainable economy that strives to, maximizing the well-being of citizens with planetary boundaries, right? Here is the global startup ecosystem comparison. When you look at India, China, and USA, right? Total funding, 1.1 trillion, 624 billion, 112 billion. Now, we are the only country that is developing, yet has the power of being at par with these other two giant nations. That I mean, it definitely astounds me as to the kind of knowledge pool that we're sitting on. If all of you saw Shark Tank India, I really like it. I still watch a couple of episodes. I'm definitely all for the Jugadu some of the solutions that were brought on. When you talk about the global unicorn race, here is where we stand. Mind you, we have surpassed UK, Germany, France, Canada, and South Korea. These are the countries that have far more resources than us. They are well developed as compared to us, but still we are at number 3 with 105, and these are all like, barely getting there when it comes to unicorns, right? Talking about the Indo-Qatar Startup Bridge, it's just a very small introduction that I'd like to give, of course. Qatar has a total population of over 2.6 million, which is 26 lakhs. I think a small town in Uttarakhand would have 26 lakh people. We are the 4th largest in financing SMEs, 5th in VC availability, starting from 2019. We also have, we're first globally to start like internet penetration, digital infrastructure. We are 4th in 5G leadership index. So this Indo-Qatar Startup Bridge was set up under the aegis of Indian Embassy over here in Qatar. And we are actively looking for startups in India that VCs and angel investors from here from Qatar would like to invest in, or startups that would like to bring their solutions to Qatar. If anybody follows football, they would know we are the nation that is hosting FIFA 2022 World Cup in November this year. So definitely a very lucrative market. The whole of GCC is a very lucrative market at the moment. And yeah, that's all for me. Before we go, there is a very small exercise that I want to do with all of you, if you're up for it. I am sharing a link in the chat. This is the link to something called a Jamboard, right? What we're going to do, we're going to play a Jamboard playground. It's a Google extension. It's like a whiteboard. I want all of you, sorry, to open the Jamboard, and I want anybody to share one thing that they are obsessed with. They have been obsessed with this particular week or even today. Anybody can be the first one and share something that you were kind of obsessed with in this week or are obsessed with today. Now, when anyone can start. Now, when it has been chosen and it appears on the box on the whiteboard, that becomes our inspiration. I'm just going to stop my screen. Yeah. So that becomes the inspiration for our communal artwork. Okay. You will see on the left hand side, there are a couple of tools that you can use for markers, adding images, create a single image inspired by that obsession. So we will keep this timed. Let's say 10 minutes and let's begin. Please start. Somebody. Before that, is it, sorry?
Just have a doubt, like query, like obsession means like what are you obsessed with the whole week?
You could be obsessed with anything. Yeah, anything. Maybe you were obsessed with a show or a series, or if I want to say in my daughter's language, she is currently obsessed with dinosaurs. So that is her obsession of the week. So it could be similar to for you. It could be you could be obsessed with the Netflix show. It could be watching YouTube documentaries about conspiracy theories, or it could be TikTok or Instagram or whatever, anything. Or maybe you're just obsessed about some topic that you read this week, or a book that you read. So start it. Somebody wrote, oh, I saw a bird somewhere. Where did that go? Okay. What is this? Looks like a penguin. Okay, whoever begins, we need to add up. Okay, everyone needs to add something depending upon whoever has gone first. Now, whatever is going on over here, everyone needs to add something. Okay, I see mountains. Somebody is obsessed with mountains. So that's the theme now, and everyone needs to add on to it. Newspapers, okay. So we have mountains and newspapers, and now the rest of us will keep adding on to it, the same theme, okay. This is our inspiration for this communal art piece that we're creating. And we need to add on to and make it a story. We'll make it like a like I said, a communal art piece. It could be a hodgepodge of interpretations that have been built off of each other. Okay, all right. Anybody else? So since somebody added newspaper and mountains, I'm going to add Okay. Do you know about your story?
Yes, miss.
Does anyone follow your story?
Yes. I will read business stories about all the startups.
Exactly. All right, we have 7 more minutes to finish our communal board. I would appreciate it if a lot more people turned up for it. We have about 19 participants and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the Jamboard. Okay, and also until then, until all of this is being completed, I am open for Q&A. If anyone wants to ask something, if you were confused about it, if you didn't understand something, any questions that you have, also you can reach out to me by email, LinkedIn. I will share my screen again to show my contact details. Hold on. Oh no.
If anyone wants to ask questions, they can ask now.
Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ma'am, my question is like related to a basic thing. Like currently we have 106 unicorn startups in India, and among them, like only 3 to 4 are profitable. Like let's say Zerodha, Joe, Traceworks, and some e-commerce company like Mama. So like, and among them, mostly they are bootstrapped. So like, is it relating anything profitable or bootstrap? Like any VCs are putting pressure on them to make it more profitable, or like is it something like that, or bootstrap is the best business to go for?
Absolutely. If you ask me, I would delay funding for as long as I can. It is always beneficial to bootstrap your business if you can, unless your business is like very capital intensive and requires huge amounts of money. It is always beneficial to bootstrap your business. You set up traction. After a couple of years is when you should start raising funds. Because I'll tell you, what usually happens is founders in their early stage of business, because they require money, they tend to give away a lot of the shares to VCs and investors, because investors know that these guys are new in the market, they have the capability, they will buy you off for a cheap price and they will buy a higher stake. But as soon as you give more stake of your company to a VC or anybody, right, you are kind of cutting your legs, because you cannot grow further. Your startup will be kind of run by them more as compared to yourself. Being bootstrapped gives you the freedom of taking decisions for your company, your baby, without thinking about, oh, what if it doesn't go well with the investor? Okay, it's always beneficial to bootstrap also. When it comes to marketing, a lot of startups are like, oh, okay, we'll do massive branding, massive marketing, and that's how we'll get business. If your business is solely dependent on marketing, and I'm not talking about, marketing tech businesses. I'm talking about normal, regular consumer businesses. If you are saying that, I'm my sole way of customer acquisition is massively marketing, it will go down in a couple of years. It's not a good way to go to. You should not be spending. And when I mean, like, no, don't spend on marketing, I mean like digital marketing. That should not be your, go-to platform. Of course, digital marketing gives you good results, but it should not be something where you put in huge chunk of money. If you are not able to derive your customers from other areas, and you're only relying on digital marketing, you should think about starting your business altogether.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? So this is what oh, someone else is drawing. Okay. Great. I'm stopping the Jamboard in 1 minute from now, or 30 seconds from now. Anybody else would like to draw something or contribute towards our community board, or have any questions? No? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Our community board is finished. I will share this with you if you want. But yeah, usually my community boards are a lot more vibrant, but that's completely fine. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, ma'am. This was a very insightful session, and we definitely got to learn a lot more, starting from business model comparisons between the startup enablers and venture capital and builder firms. It was we thank you for we thank you for coming here, and we hope to see you soon again at IIM Kashipur.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My contact details are here. In case someone wants to reach out, please feel free to do so. You can search me on LinkedIn by the name of Abhi Kaur, and you'll find me there. Cool.
Sure,
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.